Arthur and the Popularity Test. Chapter 1. All across Elwood City, kids were getting ready to go to the community center. "Be careful with those things," Sue Ellen's mother cautioned. "They're fragile." "I'm always careful," said Sue Ellen. She wrapped up a gong of pounded metal, a gourd-shaped rattle, a small drum, and a tiny stringed instrument made of bent wood. Then she put them in her backpack. "There," she said. "Perfect." Over at Fern's house, Fern was filling her pack too, with a cowbell and some rawhide strips. "I think that's everything," she said. Then she looked up at her bookshelf. She pulled down a book. "But maybe I should just leave it at home," she thought. "I doubt anybody will be interested." She started to put the book back. "Don't be such a coward," a voice in her head scolded. "Besides, even if you bring it, you can still chicken out at the last minute." "True enough," Fern sighed. She added the book to her pack and hurried out the door. Francine was supposed to be going to her own door too, but she wasn't ready yet. "Oomph," she grumbled, trying to fit a metal rod into her backpack. "This backpack just isn't big enough." It already held a bunch of wooden dowels and some bells. "There's no way to make everything fit," she muttered. Glancing around the room, she noticed her sister's backpack lying on her bed. "Catherine," she said out loud, "your backpack is bigger than mine. Would you mind if I borrowed it today?" "Of course not," she imagined Catherine replying. "After all, you're the best little sister in the whole world. So kind, so considerate. I can't refuse you anything. Take my clothes, my allowance." "Thank you," said Francine, smiling. "Just the backpack for now." She emptied out her own pack and shoved all the contents into Catherine's. At the Reed house, Arthur had also given up on fitting everything in his backpack. He needed a large shopping bag, too. His father had put it in a gourd, a bag of dried peas, some large tin cans, and a piece of cheesecloth. He tied the bag tightly onto the back of Arthur's bike. D.W. was watching. "Don't forget the kitchen sink," she told Arthur. "You got everything else." "Very funny," said Arthur. Mr. Reed finished fastening the bundle and stood up. "You certainly do have a lot here. These spring break activity days are pretty serious." Arthur nodded, especially with Mr. Ratburn in charge. His father gave the shopping bag one last pat. "You're really going to make musical instruments out of all this?" he asked. "Sue Ellen has done it before," Arthur explained. "She says our group will have the best project in the whole community center." "I look forward to seeing the results," said Mr. Reed. "Maybe you can give a concert afterward." "Maybe," said Arthur. "If I made noise with those things," said D.W., "I'd get in trouble." Arthur just smiled. "You might make noise," he said. "We're making music."